Welcome to Smells Like Potential, the rewatch podcast you didn't know you needed. We're on to the second episode of season 1, Biscuits. This episode rounds out the secondary cast of characters we saw in the pilot, reveals much more of Rebecca's plot, and shows us the first signs that not everything is hunky-dory with our favorite head coach. So we got to get into it.
Yes.
First concert, best concert.
Well, for me, it's going to be Neil Diamond was the first concert. Parents took me. It was at the Greek Theater. He was at the height of his powers. It was amazing. But the best concert was many years later. My wife and I went and saw Michael Bublé at the top of the Roosevelt Hotel in downtown Hollywood. And it was pre-fame. And he also stuck around and said hello to everyone, took a picture with us. He was great. It was an amazing concert. How about you?
Oh, first concert. It's a throwback to the 90s. Toad the Wet Sprocket. They were very popular, and it was our own little, I guess you could call it Lollapalooza, but in the Central Valley. And best concert was Jack Johnson at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and it was about 100 people. They also served food and drinks, so I got a chance to talk with Jack Johnson and his wife.
Wow.
So I find it really interesting that both of our best concerts involve engagement with the artist.
Yeah. I think it's a powerful thing you can do to engage directly with your audience and make them know that you care.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's just special moments.
I find it interesting that both your artists have a significant presence in Santa Barbara, specifically UC Santa Barbara. Jack Johnson is a gaucho, and Toad the Wet Sprocket was a Santa Barbara Isla Vista band.
See, it's all the California connections.
Yeah.
What can I say?
We're bound to work together.
Okay.
So also in this episode, we see Ted and Coach Beard make some of their first practical changes around the locker room. This episode builds out some of the relationships that were established in the pilot, and we see Sam's birthday celebration.
That was fun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's alongside a harsh loss. And we also get an interesting philosophical question posed to the main cast. Lion or Panda?
Ooh, right. So Keely pulls up and she immediately asks, lion or panda? Ted
Totally out of
chooses-
context.
Right? No framework, anything. Ted chooses panda, at which Rebecca just lays out all of the reasons why a lion is a superior choice. And so I think me as watching this, immediately I knew what my choice was. But from a writer's standpoint, we're learning what each one of the characters would choose and why they would choose that. So they're giving us a little bit of mindset. And then Jamie comes walking out and Ted says, Jamie, lion or panda? And his response, I'm me. Why would I want to be anyone else?
And Ted says, I don't think you realize how psychologically healthy that is. Because he understands, he knows that he's a self-centered character at this moment in his arc. It is the healthiest response. I wouldn't want to be anything else.
Right. So what would you pick?
Oh, well. See, now I go back and forth on this because I really do enjoy sort of a life of leisure. I think I have an ambition. I have a drive. I want to constantly get better. I want to constantly try new things. And I don't know that perfectly lines up with a lion. Plus, lions do lay around quite a bit. So I think I can get the best of both worlds by going with lion.
Oh, wow. And I have the opposite answer. I want a life of 12 hours of sleep where I get to roll around while eating during snack times. I think being a panda would be delightful and fits my laid back vibe that I aim for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit on it earlier. I think the writers are giving us a really interesting insight, not just with what the characters would say, but why they would say it, because it's in the context of others around, right? They might have a different answer if others weren't watching. And so we're seeing not so much, are you a predator or a prey in the show, but more so, how do I want to be seen? And that's all about psychological safety in the workplace. That's all about people saying, well, maybe I am ambitious, but I wouldn't admit it out loud by saying I'm a lion. Or maybe I really do just want to sit around and not perform or do as much work on the team, but I don't want to say that. I don't want to admit that. So it is a really interesting sort of conceit that the writers gave us.
Right. And Ask your coworkers, Lion or Panda, with no context and see
Yes.
what happens.
Don't even tell them why. Don't tell them it's about Ted Lasso. Just throw it upon them. So, there's another moment in the episode that we often talk about when you and I talk about Ted Lasso, and it's the meaningful interactions that we get to see with Ted between him and Sam Obisanya. The goldfish, which is the famous example everyone quotes, and then one that I think is more interesting, I think you agree, the locker room interaction on his birthday.
Yes. So Sam was feeling a little homesick, and Ted thought, you know what? We should have a birthday celebration. And so the team coming together to buy Sam a gift to show him how much he's appreciated. And in that gift, Ted offers a small piece of something that's very important to him, which is a little green army man that his son had sent in a box earlier in the episode. And the way that Sam and Ted interacted with the birthday gift, and Ted recognizing that Sam is uncomfortable with a gift and immediately accepting that gift back and saying, you're right, imperialism,
Yes.
I thought was a wonderful leadership moment. Not to be offended about, I wanted to share part of my life with you, saying, I recognize that I made you uncomfortable and I'm honoring what you need from me. Just an amazing moment in Ted Lasso, specifically talking about that psychological safety. Sam felt safe enough to say, I'm not as comfortable with this. And Ted going, you're right.
Yeah. It's also cultural awareness. Ted is not imposing his own perceptions of, in this case, the U.S. military on everyone on his team to say, oh, no, you all have to really like the Green Army Men because I like the Green Army Men. He's allowing them to have their own agency and recognizing their lived experience. And his is very different, coming from Nigeria and going through what he's probably gone through in his childhood.
Right. And Sam sharing that he has this wonderful connection with his dad. And we hear Jamie tisking in the background. And spoiler, we'll probably be talking about dads in future seasons.
Yeah, I think that might be something big, maybe in season 2, perhaps. I don't know. Okay, well, let's look at the book club segment. I know you love this. What did we see in terms of books in this episode?
We didn't see anybody specifically reading a book on camera, but in a moment that Ted and Beard are walking and they say bird by bird. And it's kind of an easy line to miss because they're walking to their apartments and it's just how they engage with each other, what they talk. They have shortcuts when they speak to each other. So this bird by bird line is referencing a book called Bird by Bird, Some Instructions on Writing and Life by Anne Lamott. And Anne was saying that this is how she tackles writing, that she takes large projects and she breaks them down into smaller tasks because her brother had a report to do and he forgot about the report. And Dad said, bird by bird, buddy, to get it done. So that is her take on how she tackles large tasks. So Ted and Beard are looking at the culture of the locker room and how to make changes to this team. And their response is bird by bird. And I thought it was just really neat connection to a book in their shorthand speech to each other.
And good advice for leaders that are in a new role, right? I recently started in a new role in leadership and I had a whole bunch of ideas about things I wanted to change, but you have to take time. You got to do it bird by bird. You can't just flip up everything and change it around. So they decided, okay, what can we do that's a small step towards changing the culture we know we want to build here with this team? And it actually resulted in an actionable step. They put out a suggestion box.
The suggestion box, so lovely decorated.
Yes, Nate's niece is crafty. She likes crafts. So he, at some point off screen, he must have asked Nate if there was something he could use as a suggestion box. And Nate probably said, oh, let me do that with my niece. So that was an off-screen interaction we didn't get to see. But they bring that suggestion box forward in a moment of vulnerability where these two new leaders are opening themselves up to, any types of criticism. It doesn't have to be polite. They allowed it to be anonymous. And even though one player did not choose to accept the anonymity. So what do you think that really shows us in terms of the team and their leadership style?
Oh, wow. So they got 2 actionable suggestions for improvements. And so it was snacks in the locker room, and more importantly, the water pressure in the shower, which
Water
gave us
pressure.
that delightful end scene. Poor Colin. He wasn't ready for that water pressure. So for Ted and Beard, they're actively demonstrating follow through.
Yes.
You have to build relationships and work on trust. And the easiest way for them to do that is to fix something that has obviously been either broken or really needed somebody to go, I see you, I understand. By updating the water pressure, it seems like a simple act. It spoke volumes about their ability to not just be focused on the game, but who the players are and what they need to be successful in the game.
Yep. Bird by bird.
Bird by
But
bird.
that wasn't the only thing they found in the box, right? Wasn't there a series of unmentionable terms that we can't repeat on the podcast?
Yes, it does. And thanks to the lovely nickname that Ted should not search on Twitter, we get a new character. We get May, the owner of the Crown and Anchor. And she has one of the most delightful introductions
She does.
by making a hand gesture that we can't really talk about on this podcast.
No, not in state G rated. Now, May is one of my favorite characters, and she's the owner of the Crown and Anchor. So she provides sort of a maternal role for all of the fans, but also Ted and Coach Beard, and I think even Rebecca and Keeley later on. So we see that she has sort of a parent role and a wise role that she's able to deliver throughout the show.
So she's great with advice, and she tells Ted, you can't let them call you that.
Yeah. And I liked what he says on the field in his response to that, because it's chanted also by the fans.
Right?
He says, well, we got 90 minutes to prove them wrong. Again, it's that unsinkable spirit that Ted brings to everything.
Right. And so that suggestion box really brings a lot of interesting nuance to this episode. So we're going to introduce another segment,
Our own suggestion box?
our own suggestion box for season 4. It's something that I've been thinking about a little bit. And what I would suggest to the writers for season 4 is more Keeley. That's the only advice I have right now. I hope we get to see more Keeley with the women's soccer team in season 4. What about you? What would you suggest to the writers?
Well, I just love the characters. As I was talking about with May and with others, the writers have a talent in building out characters with depth, three-dimensional characters that go through changes and transitions. We'll see it throughout this season as well as 2 and 3. And I want them to continue that tradition. I want to find new characters that we are introducing into the Ted Lasso universe. Obviously, I want to see characters continue, of course, but I really would love to see them continue that tradition, introduce some new characters. I'm dying to find out what they do with Tracy Ullman.
Right?
So I think there's some really great potential because she's wicked talented.
So phenomenal.
Yeah. So that would be my suggestion. And we want to thank you all for tuning in. That's it for this episode. We'll catch you tomorrow for our reaction to season 1, episode 3, Trent Krim, the Independent.
And our outgoing quote from Ted, high five, tree.